Hi, I'm Noel T. Manning II. Thanks so much for joining us right here on Meet Me at the Movies and Elements of Madness, and also through WG and Cinema Scene. However you spend time with us, we do appreciate it so much. Really happy today to have a couple of filmmakers with us, Lane and Ruckus Skye. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Good to be here.
You guys have a new film. It's called The Devil to Pay, and this is your first film that you've directed. You're no stranger to film. You've been involved in it a little bit, and we're going to talk about The Devil to Pay very shortly. But I'd love to get some background on your love of cinema, your love of film, how you guys decided to collaborate, and how all of that happened.
You want the short version of that? Well, I think, we both loved movies. Growing up, I loved movies, and Lane did too. And we got together and started dating and got married just as cinema lovers, never with the intention that we were going to become filmmakers. We came to that later. And it started with, I'm also a songwriter, so we were going to shoot a music video for a song I wrote just for fun. And I was like, oh, that's our first time filming something. And then we started thinking about short films, and it kind of just snowballed from there. We were just both creative people, and it just kind of, we was like, hey, we love movies. Why don't we give it a shot? That's really how it happened. There was no game plan.
Yeah, and we started out making these weird, like, dramedy shorts. And one day we looked at our DVD shelf and we were like, wait a minute, every movie we love is a thriller or a horror movie. Why are we writing comedies? And so we started writing thrillers, and that's when our screenwriting career started to take off.
So the thriller aspect, the suspense aspect, even elements of horror and some twisted life lessons as well are all kind of thrown into the mix. What is it about those particular things that you feel drawn to?
Well, I think we both had a background and love of Southern Gothic literature, and because we're both from the South, born, raised, and so it's that blend of the macabre and the dark humor in the same story. And so those are two elements. We always try to start with a grounded human, characters, but then, like, how do we mix in something a little weird and maybe a little scary, maybe a little violent,
maybe a little gross,
but also the dark humor. We always try to find the dark humor in things, and to us that's what makes a film feel dynamic. And because if it's scary the entire way through, then if everything's scary, then it's not scary anymore. And if it's funny the whole way through, then it's a comedy, which isn't what we do. So but it's just sort of our natural default position of the kind of things we like to watch. So we always try to write the kind of things that we would want to see.
So how does a collaboration work between both of you? I've had a chance to collaborate with folks, and sometimes you build off each other's strengths, and sometimes you may have weaknesses that the other is able to pick up. So talk about your collaboration process.
People probably think that we agree on everything, which is far from the truth.
No.
Otherwise, one of us would be redundant, right? So I like to say we absolutely elevate each other, and because we have different strengths, and what comes out the other end, screenplay or movie, is so different than what if I did it entirely on my own, or if she did it entirely on her own. And that's what's exciting about collaborating. Mm-hmm. We in the writing process, it's a lot of arguing and just fighting for what we believe is going to make the film better. We try to remove our ego, and we try to think of what is the best idea and let that win, not which one was my idea or your idea. It's like the best idea wins in the end.
And by the end, we hardly remember whose idea was what.
Now I remember which ones were mine.
Well, I don't.
But then as far as directing, once we're on set, we've done so much arguing and the developing and the writing and the pre-production that we're pretty much in sync on set. And so that makes it easier than when we're working with camera and actors to try to, we're pretty in tune at that point.
Do you find that you start with the story, the narrative first, or the characters, or is it a combination of both?
Every time is different.
Every time is different. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of a combination. Sometimes it's a character that we just see very clearly, and we want to see what's the most interesting scenario to put that character in. And then sometimes, like with The Devil to Pay, it was the idea of a knock on the door and somebody telling this woman that she has to leave her son there and go see somebody, and just like, what is that? And the whole story built from that moment.
Yeah, it was an incredible film, and you talk about the Southern Gothic nature of what you are drawn to. And this film shot in Georgia, if I read the credits correctly, and you really did feel this sense of being in Appalachia, and being in this mountain community. And the locations were magnificent, and that's one of the things as I was watching this. So many things I loved about this film. I loved the cinematography, Sherman Johnson, you had doing the work on that. I loved the score, and then the songs that were chosen, the songs with the lyrics as well, and the locations, and the acting. Danielle, wow. So you can touch on any of those aspects you want, because I loved every element of it, and the story as well. The story just, it drew me in, as you said, from that knock on the door, from the opening frame. I was drawn in, and I kept wondering where this was going to go, and I never took my eyes off the screen. So what a wonderful job you did, and your first film directing together, absolutely marvelous. So dive into any of those topics: the acting, the cinematography, the locations, any that you want to chat about.
Wow. We'll do a short version of all of them. We shot it in Hiawassee, Georgia, which is about 2 hours north of Atlanta, where we were at the time. And we found a wonderful woman, Michelle Moreland, who had property up there and became a producer on the film. And she is a very small community, and she introduced us to everyone there and became our sort of like, she vouched for us. Because we were, who are these people from the city coming up here to film this movie? But everyone there just embraced us, and a lot of the extras in the film are people that live there that aren't actors. They just wanted to come be in the movie. But locations and actually the actual area we shot in, it's really, all the locations are pretty close to each other, but it feels spread out. And tell people this, it's a lot more metropolis than it looks in the movie. That's a lot of movie magic. There are a ton of visual effects in the movies, like removing power lines and removing other houses in the background, so it feels more remote. So there was some work done there, but it was beautiful, and Sherman did an amazing job just making that beautiful there. We talk about Danielle.
Then we actually wrote the script for Danielle. We met her through the Atlanta arts community, and we talked about things that we wanted to do together. And then we were like, we don't really have anything that fits her. Let's just write something specifically for her. And so we thought about what we wanted to see her do and came up with this idea and wrote it without telling her, and then gave her the script. Wow. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to do this.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, we knew we had a movie at that point. And then we wrote a lot of the other side characters also for Atlanta-based actors that we knew and had wanted to work with or had worked with. So we knew we'd have a strong cast.
Yeah, we were very fortunate. Everyone we wrote a role for agreed to do it and was available. So yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah. Danielle was just so raw and so authentic. It felt as if it was somebody you knew or could know. And that is something that you can train your whole life to be able to do it. But in order to make it happen and make it click, it's a gift as well. And I think she's got a gift.
Yeah, she's amazing. And a little directing insight. We basically realized by the second or third day, I was like, we just need to stop talking to her.
Completely.
She knows what she's doing, and all our directing doing is messing her up. It's like, we just
stay out of her way, basically.
Yeah, she had prepared and planned and prepped, and she knew what she wanted to do with this character, and we just trusted her. After the first day, we were just like, she
nailed it on the first take every time.
Yeah.
So
I remember that the first scene and putting the camera up and watching it take, and we looked at each other. We're like, this is going to be a movie, like getting chills and be like, this is going to be a movie.
Yeah.
So we're very fortunate that she that we knew her and met her, and that she ended up doing it.
Yeah, the emotion that she was able to share, and even the character arc, going from someone who was a bit fearful and in some ways timid to this bad mother on the other end of it. Wow. Just and there were certain scenes when she would just break down and cry, and you felt it as a viewer, as an audience member. You felt the anguish that she was feeling as well. And wow, I honestly just blown away by that.
Yeah. We were too. We felt it on set. I mean, we'd be at the monitor crying, like watching her.
Totally.
It was like, it was
Yeah. So talk about the process, the development process. How long did it take you to pull this together? When did the story idea begin and the shooting? And now here we are being able to see it.
Yeah. Well, it was insane, actually. From coming up with the idea, we were on set 3 months later.
Yeah.
Wow.
We wrote it in like 12 days.
We wrote it insanely fast. We picked a start date, and we had nothing but a script and Danielle. We didn't have funding, we didn't have location, we had nothing, but we picked a start date and we just told everyone this is when it's shooting. And we refused to back off from that. And it happened. I mean, we got the money 2 weeks before we shot. I mean, it was insanely stressful, and we would never want to do it that way again, but we were glad we did it.
Yeah. We like to say it's like jumping off a cliff and figuring out what to do on the way down.
That was exactly what it was. And then conversely, it took forever to come out. Like that was 3 years ago that we shot this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Post took a minute because it was a lower budget indie film, and so we did a lot of the post ourselves, which just takes more time.
So it took a lot longer.
And then COVID happened, so our distributor
but we had
our release date.
Yeah, we had a year festival run we did with it, and so. But I mean, we're glad that it's finally getting to come. We've been sitting on this for a while.
Yeah. So, what are some things that you would like for our viewers to know about this film? You're not really sure as you're watching it what time period this is, when this is. Was that purposeful?
Oh yeah.
To put it like that.
Yeah. I mean, it is. If you want a real answer, it is absolutely modern day right now. Well, we love timeless feeling pieces, and as much as I love technology in everyday life, iPhones have ruined movies. It's like, that's the 8 Plus. Like, I know what year they shot this movie. So
it dates your phone.
It's
really
tough.
fast.
And cell phones in general have ruined horror movies because you always have to have I don't have any bars, I can't call anyone.
I've run out of power in my phone.
I missed the times when it was like there's no payphone around. That was the big
Right.
But we were very much inspired by films from the late 60s, early 70s, and like In the Heat of the Night's one of my favorite Southern films of all time.
Yeah.
I think that and Deliverance had a little bit of it. In fact, there's a blatant Deliverance homage in this when there's a guy playing a banjo on a porch. But so we always love timeless feeling. And then, but it really was the premise of the film is that this culture in this town at the top of the mountain is cut off from the rest of America.
Yeah.
And that was part of it. Is like it can't feel.
That's why none of the cars are new and nothing they have is new because.
A little bit like Cuba. We talked about Cuba a while. How even today you can find cars from the 70s still driving around because it's like a little old and a little some new, but not much. But we felt like if she could just get on a cell phone or someone pulls up in their brand new, BMW, like she can find help. And we wanted her to feel like there's no one here helping her.
Right.
Right.
To really feel like she was really on her own. So that was definitely on purpose.
Yeah, and then you had a community within a community that very cult-like as well.
I'm glad I love the way you said that.
I would. Let's say I don't know that I would go under those tracks to get to that community. I would have to be in dire straits, and she truly was in dire straits. So
I love the way you phrase that because there really was the feeling like. The top of this mountain where Lemon lives is an outsider community, and then even within that, these guys are outsiders, and that was the reasoning behind it. We wanted it to be like, no matter how small a culture, there's still people that separate themselves from other people, and also her whole world is built on laws, and then if you go into their side, they have their own laws, and you better follow those. And
that's terrifying to her to step outside of the thing that she knew.
Right.
Yeah, it was truly fascinating to watch, and I hope more people get a chance to see this. I do want you to talk a little bit about the score and the songs as well, because it put it within place as I was watching this.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So Brad Carter, who plays the character Dixon in the movie, he's the one playing the banjo on the front porch. He actually scored the film as well. So it was a beautiful collaboration with him. Like, we've known him for a little while and worked with him before. He's a great actor and an amazing musician. He puts out music himself that he writes. But we'd heard some other stuff he had done and was like, man, you should score this film and be in it and play a song in the movie. But what was so fun is we sent him the script because as an actor, he needed to read it. And I was like, yeah, you could score it, thinking when we finish the film, you can. But he, within like a week, sent us music tracks just inspired by reading the script. And then I was like, whoa, this music track is so inspiring. It changed the way we were shooting some of the scenes.
For sure.
Wow.
So it kind of like fed on itself. It was such a cool process. Yeah, there's her theme, her main theme is like one of the first things he came up with, and then it ended up being orchestrated on banjo and then later in fiddle, and it was just such a fun process. And yeah, it was very much part of. He immediately got the tone and the vibe and the feel. Like, we heard that. It was just like with Danielle. I was like, okay, this is gonna work. This is totally gonna be great. And so the Appalachian traditional "Don't Want to Die in the Storm," that came from like just Googling traditionals and looking for lyrics that like, and that was like, oh my God, we saw that lyric and we're like, this is so fitting.
Yeah.
This is so fitting. And we knew we wanted Brad to play that. And also that melody, if anyone's paying attention, that gets worked into different parts of the score in other places in the movie. That little melody works in there.
Yeah, even the wind chimes on the porch are in the same like range as that melody.
Yeah. If you really get geeky and pay attention, like the wind chime or three notes, and when he flex the banjo in the beginning, like that, that's part of the melody. And then we found this really great band called Red Tail Ring, who they do the song over the closing credits. Right. And that was actually their original song that they had already written, but this lyrically it was so perfect.
It was so perfect.
And the tone was perfect, and I was like, I can't imagine we're gonna find a song that's gonna, fit this better at the end. I put it up over the credits before we ever asked them about it, and I was like, oh, this is like, we have to get this song. So
wow.
Oh, and they also did the version of Blackest Crow that plays on the record.
Oh yeah. I forgot that's how we met them.
Yeah.
We were looking for a song to play on that record. We knew we were going to record our own version of it, and they had put a version of them playing that song on YouTube, so we connected that way. And then we heard this other song, and we were like, oh, can we also do that? So the one on the record they recorded specifically for the movie. So
wow.
Yeah, I have a musical background too, and that's such an important part of the movie to us. So we're so happy with how it all
it's such an important part of that region too. Just music plays such a big part in their culture, so we wanted to honor that too.
Well, we're talking about collaboration between you two, but it seems like with Brad's influence that provided collaboration, and when you're open to collaboration, amazing things can happen, organic things can happen, which can change the direction of what you're hoping to do and make it better if you give it that opportunity.
Yeah, ideally, you're surrounding yourself with people that are going to elevate your idea and make it way more than you like. The version we thought exactly what it would be, this is way better than that. And that only comes from taking everyone's ideas.
That's what I love about film, is how collaborative the medium it is, and you get to bring everybody's strengths into the pot and make something bigger than the sum of its parts.
Absolutely. Anything else you guys want to make sure you add for this film, The Devil to Pay?
Well, we're very excited to share the movie with the world, see what everyone thinks.
Awesome. Any other projects that you want to let us know about that you're working on?
Oh, we're messing around with a sequel idea with Danielle. So maybe she goes down the mountain and becomes a vigilante in the big city. Who knows?
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. Maybe not.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, we have a lot of things in the works, but with COVID the way it is, who knows what'll happen next. But we absolutely are going to make more films and can't wait to get back on set.
Well, I definitely would recommend if you can work with Danielle again. Wow, just a sequel or otherwise, quite incredible. If people wanted to find out more about you and wanted to check you out, what's the best way they can do that?
We're on Instagram and Facebook as Ruckus and Lane Skye. Should be pretty easy to find, and we'll keep updated on any future projects and this one.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, to our viewers, we appreciate you spending time with us. We want to thank Lane and Ruckus Skye as well for spending time talking to us about film and about the movie, The Devil to Pay.
Awesome.
Until next time, I'm Noel T. Manning II, and that is a wrap. Awesome. Thanks, guys.